Most people think success comes from motivation, but motivation is a mood. Consistency is a mindset. The truth is, anyone can start something. Anyone can show up on day one, post a highlight, or make a promise. But what separates the people who actually win from the ones who burn out is this: they keep showing up long after the excitement fades. Consistency isn't about hype. It's about who you are when nobody's clapping, when it's boring, when it hurts, and when it feels like it's not working. Because those are the moments that build something real. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how to stay consistent, mentally, emotionally, and practically. Not just for a week, not just when it's easy, but for the long haul. Whether you're trying to get in shape, build a brand, fix your mindset, or simply stop quitting on yourself, this is for you. These are the systems, psychology, and identity shifts that help you win without needing to burn out or rely on discipline alone. Let's get into it. Consistency doesn't start with what you do, it starts with who you believe you are. Most people fail to stay consistent because they still see themselves as someone who's trying, not someone who simply is. If you want to go to the gym consistently, don't identify as someone trying to work out, identify as an athlete in training. If you want to post content every day, don't call yourself a beginner, call yourself a creator. The brain wants to act in alignment with its identity. So every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the person you believe you are. That's why the most powerful way to build consistency is not by forcing habits, but by reinforcing identity. Shift your internal dialogue from "I have to" "This is just what I do." A smoker trying to quit says, "I'm trying to stop smoking." But someone who's made the switch says, "I'm not a smoker." Identity leads to behavior. And when your identity is clear, consistency becomes effortless because you're no longer negotiating with yourself. You've already decided. The question isn't, can I stay consistent? The question is, who am I becoming every time I act like this? Anyone can be consistent when they're motivated, well-rested, and everything is going according to plan. The real test of consistency isn't how well you perform when you feel like it, it's how often you show up when you don't. The most disciplined people in the world don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems that kick in regardless of mood. They've trained themselves to lower the bar on bad days, not to quit, but to simplify. If they usually run 5K, they run 1K. If they usually write for an hour, they write for 10 minutes. The goal isn't perfection, it's presence. Progress doesn't require 100% effort every day. It just requires reps. The days you feel off, uninspired, or emotionally drained are actually the most important days to show up, because that's when you condition your nervous system to stop making your emotions the dictator of your decisions. When you do the hard things on hard days, you build mental toughness. You prove to yourself that discipline isn't an event, it's a default setting. Even if you only do 20% of what you planned, you still win, because the habit is kept alive. The promise to yourself remains unbroken. And that, more than anything else, is the seed of true consistency. Motivation is unreliable. It's an emotional high that comes and goes, sparked by music, videos, quotes, or fleeting moments of inspiration. But if your ability to take action is tied to how motivated you feel, your consistency will crumble the moment that spark disappears. Mastering consistency means removing motivation from the equation entirely. Instead, you build a system that makes action automatic. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and ask, "Am I motivated to do this?" You just do it because it's embedded into your identity. That's the shift from effort to identity. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start saying, "This is who I am." You become the type of person who trains daily, studies even when tired, writes when uninspired, or shows up regardless of mood. The secret is to stop negotiating with yourself. The more you delay, hesitate, or reason with laziness, the louder the resistance becomes. Winners don't wait to feel ready. They move while uncomfortable. They create structure so powerful that feelings are irrelevant. Their habits are tied to their purpose, not their mood. And once you internalize this, you don't need motivation to keep going, because consistency becomes your nature. It's not about being superhuman, it's about having systems so strong that even a weak moment can't break you. The day you no longer need to feel motivated to act, that's the day you become unstoppable. Your environment is either feeding your consistency or slowly destroying it. Willpower alone is never enough because your brain is always scanning for the path of least resistance. That means every temptation in your space, every distraction, every easy escape will eventually overpower you if left unchecked. The key to being consistent isn't just inner strength, it's environmental strategy. If your phone is the first thing you touch in the morning, you've already handed your focus to the outside world. If junk food is in the cupboard, your future self will eventually cave. If the people around you mock your discipline or encourage mediocrity, it's only a matter of time before you fall in line with their energy. To build relentless consistency, your space must reflect your mission. Clear your workspace, silence the noise. Delete the apps that devour your attention. Make your environment frictionless for productivity and full of friction for your weaknesses. Lay your workout clothes out the night before. Keep your phone in another room when you're working. Replace empty socializing with people who force you to level up. Every small tweak in your surroundings either pulls you closer to or further from your goals. Remember, humans adapt to the energy around them. So create an environment that makes discipline easier than laziness, one where the default setting is growth. Because when your surroundings are set up to support your best self, consistency becomes less of a struggle and more of an instinct. Master your environment, and you'll never have to rely on willpower again. Consistency becomes unbreakable when discipline transforms into ritual, when it's no longer a decision you have to make, but a sacred routine you simply follow. Most people fail because they rely on motivation, and motivation is a liar. It shows up when it feels like it and disappears when you need it most. Ritual, on the other hand, is immune to mood. It's carved into your identity. It's what you do regardless of how you feel. To create this, start with small, intentional habits at the same time each day. Make them non-negotiable. Wake up and stretch for 2 minutes. Read 10 pages. Write for 15. Meditate for 5. These aren't life-changing in themselves, but they're not meant to be. They are anchors, psychological triggers. Your brain starts to associate these micro-habits with a specific state of being: focus, discipline, peace. And over time, they build momentum. You begin to stack habits. 1 small win becomes 2. 2 becomes a streak, and that streak becomes your standard. What once required effort now feels unnatural to break. That's when you've crossed the line from discipline to identity, from external force to internal code. Don't aim to be productive. Aim to become the type of person who is productive. Don't chase results. Build systems that make results inevitable. And the secret to that? Rituals. Not rigid rules, but meaningful patterns. Movements that remind your mind who you are and what you stand for. When your days are filled with ritual, you no longer need to chase motivation. You've already become the kind of person who shows up no matter what. Every journey of consistency has a phase most people never talk about, and fewer survive. It's the dip, the silence between your effort and the reward. The space where the progress isn't visible, the excitement has worn off, and the only thing left is your ability to endure. This is the graveyard of goals, the place where dreamers quit and doubters whisper, "Told you so." But if you want to master consistency, this is the gate you must walk through. And here's how you do it. First, stop chasing constant results. Shift your focus from the outcome to the effort, from the scoreboard to the system. When you focus on output, you're addicted to validation. But when you focus on input, you become untouchable. You win just by showing up. Second, normalize boredom. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not fireworks. It's not dopamine. It's doing the reps when no one's clapping. It's mastering the mundane. And the ones who become dangerous are the ones who fall in love with repetition. Third, adjust your expectations. You're not going to feel like it every day. You will feel resistance. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're on the edge of growth. When you understand this, your emotions stop being obstacles and become data, a signal that something powerful is being rewired. Fourth, stack your proof. Every day you show up, even for 5 minutes, document it. Build a chain. Track your streak. This creates momentum and shame-proof accountability. It turns the abstract idea of discipline into visual evidence. You become someone who no longer tries, you're someone who does. And finally, remember this. The dip is where your identity is forged. It's the price of long-term greatness. The longer you outlast the silence, the louder your results will be when they arrive. You're not stuck. You're in the part of the story that makes your comeback legendary. Consistency doesn't come from being more motivated than everyone else. It comes from having fewer chances to fail. The people you think are disciplined aren't using willpower every day. They've simply built systems that eliminate friction, automate behavior, and make failure inconvenient. If you want to stay consistent, your first step is to stop relying on emotion and start relying on structure. Willpower is like a muscle, it fatigues. But systems, they run whether you feel good or not. Start with environment. Design your space to make your habits automatic. If you're trying to focus, remove distractions. If you want to work out, put your gym clothes where you trip over them in the morning. If you want to read more, put your phone across the room and the book on your pillow. Second, use triggers. Tie your new habit to an existing one. Wake up, stretch. Brush your teeth, review goals. Make coffee, read 5 pages. When the action is connected to something that already exists in your routine, it stops being a decision and becomes a reflex. Third, pre-commit. Schedule it, announce it, prep for it in advance. If you leave your habits to the chaos of the moment, they will die in the chaos of the moment. Fourth, eliminate negotiations. Don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" Ask, "What's the next step?" Consistent people don't argue with themselves. They follow instructions they set when they were clear-headed. Fifth, make it trackable. Use a habit tracker, journal, or calendar. What gets measured gets mastered. Even a simple X on a calendar creates a chain effect your brain doesn't want to break. That's how you build identity. Not in massive, dramatic acts, but in small, daily, undeniable proof. And finally, audit your system weekly. What broke your flow? Where did friction win? What can you remove, prepare better, or automate? Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means relentless course correction. Build a system so solid it carries you through the hard days. And when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't motivation that made you unstoppable. It was strategy. If you want to be consistent for life, it can't just be something you do. It has to become who you are. Most people try to chase results using tactics, schedules, and discipline hacks, but the real secret is identity. When you identify as someone who is trying to be consistent, your brain gives you permission to fail, because trying still leaves the door open to excuses. But when you become the type of person who says, "I don't skip workouts," or "I always show up," or "I don't break promises to myself," you build a foundation that doesn't shake just because motivation dips or life gets hard. Identity rewires your internal compass. It turns habits from effort into expression. Instead of fighting to be consistent, you'll feel off when you break the streak because it violates who you are. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to stop negotiating with yourself. The more you keep promises to yourself, the more self-trust you build. And self-trust is the root of true discipline. Over time, those consistent actions create compounding momentum. One rep turns into a routine. One routine turns into a lifestyle, and that lifestyle turns into proof. You don't have to convince yourself anymore. You have evidence. Consistency becomes effortless when your identity aligns with your actions. So stop trying to get motivated. Instead, ask, "Who am I becoming every time I show up?" And if you don't like the answer, change it. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards proof. And when you master consistency, you become proof that discipline wins when talent, motivation, and circumstance all fall short. Let your habits speak for you, so even when you're silent, your results are loud. If you made it to the end of this video, you're not just interested in becoming more consistent, you're committed. And that puts you ahead of 95% of people who keep waiting for motivation to strike. But here's the truth. Consistency isn't a gift, it's a choice. Every single day, you have two options. Keep breaking promises to yourself and stay stuck, or start keeping them and become unstoppable. You already have what it takes. You just need to stop negotiating with the old version of yourself who settles for less. If this video lit a fire under you, don't just click off and forget about it. Use it, act on it, build something with it. Because consistency isn't about having perfect days. It's about refusing to quit on the hard ones. And if you're serious about mastering that mindset, subscribe to this channel right now and turn on notifications, because here we don't do surface-level motivation. We go deep. We get strategic. We build warriors out of overthinkers. Leave a comment below and tell me the one thing you're committing to be consistent with starting today. I want to hear from you, and more importantly, I want you to hear yourself declare it, because once you say it out loud, the clock starts ticking. This is your moment. Decide who you're becoming and don't look back.